the Tampa Bay Lightning. Blue, presented by Penelope Bourbon. A weekly look behind the scenes of the Tampa Bay Lightning with reporters Gabby, Shirley, and Ben Pierce.
Hello.
What's up?
Welcome to another episode of Into the Blue. Gabby Shirley here alongside Ben Pierce. We are recording this episode from our respective homes. And today, Ben, unlike other days, we are doing it live. Are you nervous?
No, I just hope you don't grill me too hard today. You know, I feel like I'm gonna be feeling comfy and you're gonna ask me a question and we'll see how it goes. But it'll be great, you know, a fun new thing. And for anybody who is tuned in right away, just a reminder that you can actually comment on our live stream if you have any questions as we're talking about stuff, and we can answer your questions live. So something new that we don't usually get to do. So lots of new stuff, and I think we're both excited to see how it goes.
Yes, that should be fun. Of course, we're not answering any question that appears. They will be vetted first. So guys, be nice. Okay, but we're going to get right into it with our first topic, the 8th annual Coop's Catch for Kids. Now, this happened yesterday. John Cooper, the entire Tampa Bay Lightning team, as well as a celebrity guest, took to the water to fish and to raise money for pediatric cancer research and patient services. The proceeds go to the J5 Foundation, which is Cooper's family's charitable organization. Wow, that was a mouthful. Ben, you got to take this one because in a unfortunate twist, I had booked my own baby shower in Pennsylvania on Sunday. This took place, John Cooper, Coop's Catch, on Monday. So I was unable to be there. But you have everything that fans need to know. Can you tell our loyal listeners what they should know about this incredible event?
Well, for me, it was year 2, and it was quite a year. Last year, I remember talking about going over $200,000 donated from last year's Coop's Catch event, and thinking about how incredible that is. Coop mentioned it again this morning. The biggest takeaway, I think, from this is when this event first started 8 years ago, John Cooper has always said, like, my goal was $60,000. That's how much I wanted to raise. Now, last year, we celebrated this organization and this event raising over $1 million total in its lifespan over the first 7 years of Coop's Catch. This year's Coop's Catch, Gabby, as I know you know, raised over $500,000, $500,000 in a single year, thanks to incredible donations and sponsorships. And just like when you think about how much an event like that has grown and how exciting it is to see the generosity of people from all different corners of Tampa and even beyond that, $500,000 that's going to go straight to kids fighting cancer and their families. And it's, you know, I know we talk a lot about sticks and pucks and fantastic highlight reel goals on this podcast, but it is one of those moments, I think, in our work where you have to kind of pause and say, like, this is incredible. And I have to admit, I always say this, but someday when John Cooper writes a book, head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's going to be tremendous, because John Cooper, don't tell him I said this, he had me tearing up in the corner yesterday when he was giving his speech during or on Sunday, I should say, for the Anglers party. And just incredible, like how much this means to him. And when you think about John Cooper, he talked about winning the Stanley Cups and everything that he's done in this organization, but he talked about how important Coop's Catch is and giving back to kids fighting cancer. And I just think it's a good reminder that it's deeper than hockey for this organization, as it usually is for all causes like this. But phenomenal year. The weather was cold. I will admit, being on a boat.
Ben was on a boat.
I was on a boat with 7-year-old Remy Sutherland, who was last year's guest of honor. And it was a very cold and windy day, but you would have never known, talking to everybody out on the water. Everybody was having fun. And I know our social team has started trickling out some videos with our special guest. Not a big deal. Pro Basketball Hall of Famer Charles Barkley, NBA legend. Like, it just crazy the amount of people that were there. I mean, you talk about Baker Mayfield stopped by on Sunday for the Anglers party. Jane Castor, mayor of Tampa, a couple of World Series champions, and Tino Martinez and David Wells, like Rondé Barber, Titus O'Neil. The list just goes on and on and on. And the other thing for me was the fishing. I got to tell you, I got a website or a story right now up on the Tampa Bay Lightning website, and you can go check it out. It's a full recap of the weekend, the Anglers Party, fishing with Remy, and talking as well to Charles Barkley about what he thought of his first Coop's Catch event. And it was pretty remarkable because Charles Barkley says, you know, I learned a lot. He says, I had no idea that little of funding, research, fundraising goes toward children. And he said the fact that John Cooper is here and taking action toward that, he said it's remarkable. He said it's a really big human thing. So a fun story. You can go check that out. But I do have to give a shout out to Remy Sutherland, who was absolutely killing it on the water. Our boat caught 22 fish, and
insane.
And Anthony Cirelli was the player on our boat, and I got him talk to him in the story as well. His big takeaway was he might have got schooled by a 7-year-old Remy Sutherland this week, because she was catching anything and everything, and she was giving it to see a little bit, kind of chirping him about like, when's it your turn to reel one in here? And they finally both caught one at the same time. And Cirelli brought the fish above the water, turned around and saw this massive sheep's head fish that Remy had caught, and lowered his line back into the water so she wouldn't see the small red fish that he had just hauled in. So great story online for you to go check out. But just another reminder that it is deeper than hockey, and the Lightning organization, once again, just a phenomenal event. So shout out to John Cooper, all the Lightning players and staff that helped out with that, and the Lightning Foundation, because you don't see this in every NHL city.
So good. I've been a part of it in the past, Ben. Thank you for sharing those details with me. I'm sad I missed it, but yes, it sounds like it was such a success, and I'm looking forward to it next year. All right.
We can't wait. Shirley, so how cold would you have been, though? I got to bring this up. Windy, on the water. What would you have?
Ben, you're forgetting that I'm married to a guy that's obsessed with fishing. So, like, I got it down, but yeah, it wouldn't have been my first choice.
The mittens, do you think the mittens would have been out?
I would have had everything. Hand warmers mainly, because you need your hands to fish.
True.
So gloves aren't really going to work. Hand warmers, though, yes.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Oh, yeah. I probably would have stolen some gear from, again, my husband as well, because it gets chilly.
Love it.
Even in Florida. All right. Next topic. 3 days between Tampa Bay Lightning games. Right, Ben? I went back. I looked at the calendar. Since the start of the team's 5-game winning streak, which started on October 25th versus the Ducks, the Lightning have had only more than one day in between games one time. So, right, it's been back-to-back games. It's been every other day. It's been busy. So this stretch, 3 days, kind of nice. The Tampa Bay Lightning, going back to, again, the start of that 5-game win streak, have won 7 of 8 games. And it's been working out well for them. But in your opinion, 3 days, practice, Coop's Catch, practice. Why do you think this quote-unquote 3-day break, again, the team was busy, but why do you think it comes at a pretty good time?
Well, we, Coop's Catch, it was good seeing all the players out there for Coop's Catch. Like I said, they all talk about how much they look forward to it every year. But despite seeing all the players at Coop's Catch Monday, yesterday, we did not see as many guys on the ice today for practice. And we saw a couple of maintenance days before last week ended. On Sunday, they had a practice, and we saw, I think it was 5 guys miss that skate for what the team called maintenance days. And we weren't sure what that meant for the next skate, who we'd see, who we wouldn't. Obviously, we haven't seen Ryan McDonough since he blocked that shot off his foot in the team's last game on Saturday. Well, Coach John Cooper today gave us a long list of updates, and none of them super positive on the injury front. It sounds like there are going to be some recalls from the Syracuse Crunch in the American Hockey League. Coop said that today. And just right off the top, I mentioned McDonough. Coop said today he's going to be out a few games. Now, we don't know exactly what that timeline looks like, but it's going to be a few games. Dominic James, obviously the rookie forward who fans have quickly taken a liking to, putting the puck in the back of the net the other night and bringing some really good energy. He's not quite day-to-day. Now, Nick Paul, who obviously we haven't seen all season to this point, Nick Paul, originally the hope was after this road trip that he would be considered day-to-day and maybe we'd see him at some point this week. That is now in question, it sounds like, according to Cooper, said he's not quite day-to-day either. The good news is we have not seen Captain Victor Hedman the last 2 days, or last 2 skates, I should say. He is day-to-day, so it sounds like there's at least a chance we see him in tomorrow's game against the New York Rangers, as well as Pontus Holmberg. So I know that is a long, long list of names. The good news is, once again, we talked about Anthony Cirelli. He did not skate in the team's practice on Sunday. He was out there today, full participant, and we did see Max Crozier on the ice as well. So you win some, you lose some, you get a guy back, you lose somebody else. It's this break really couldn't come at a better time for the Lightning, and hopefully we see more of those guys on Monday than not. But it sounds like we're going to at least be missing a couple of guys.
Yeah, Ben, right? Injuries are a part of it. And knock on wood, the Tampa Bay Lightning have done a fairly decent job of avoiding anything huge injury-wise, right? I'm excluding Nick Paul because that happened before the season even started. And like you said, nothing totally positive as far as, yeah, we're going to see X, Y, and Z player on the ice tomorrow against the Rangers. However, soon to be day to day, like, we'll take it rather than week to week. I'll have to get back to you. Like, it's going to be okay. John Cooper said, as you mentioned, that there might be some call ups, and it will be interesting to see where they kind of slot in. Right, Ben? Based on lines today, it looks like the Lightning would be okay with 11-7 if Victor Hedman and Max Crozier both play on Wednesday. If they want to go 12-6, they're going to need another forward because Nick Paul was out there participating. So yeah, it will be interesting to see who comes up, who is slotted where, and time will tell.
Yeah, and we talked last week's podcast. We talked about how much deeper this lineup is than maybe a year ago at this point, and they're going to need it now. All of a sudden, you know, it's like you look at today. Crozier comes back, and I know he doesn't have a ton of NHL experience. But Gabby, you noticed it right away today at practice. If Victor Hedman can't go, and obviously we hope that he can, but Max Crozier, it looks like, would be skating on what might be considered the top pairing with JJ Moser. That was the duo today. And Crozier's been really good this year when he's played so far. And the fact that you've got that guy coming back would be big if Crow can go. And he wasn't a name that Cooper even mentioned in his post-practice injury report, which is a good sign that he's officially good to go. And now, Dastu, right? We talk about another rookie who's just all of a sudden coming on hot. He's coming off his first multi-point game in the NHL, had 2 assists in Saturday's win. He's playing with Eric Chernak all of a sudden in a top 4 role. Like, this is what you need at times like this, is guys to step up. You never want to see injuries, but luckily for the Lightning so far this season, they've had guys already that have come up and stepped up and played a big role. And it sounds like there's at least a chance we could see that again from Syracuse if things don't progress properly over the next couple of hours here. We'll see what happens. The good news is Vasi's on the ice, right? You've always got a chance when that guy's in net. And the forward group, the top 6, Gage Gonsalves was practicing today on that second line per se with Hagel and Cirelli. We've seen him there in the past. He's comfortable playing with those 2 guys. Genspoint and Cooch are out there. You got a pretty good starting point there, but there's definitely some question marks.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully learn more tomorrow, Ben, in the morning skate before that game against the Rangers. But if not, we'll see when the players take the ice. All right, third and final topic. Next 3 games, Ben. Rangers at home on Wednesday. Saturday, on the road against the Florida Panthers. And Sunday, second half of a back-to-back, back at Benchmark International Arena against the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, 3 games that we're all going to be glued to, Ben, but we got to just start with this middle one, maybe start and finish with this middle one. Saturday at the Panthers. They currently trail us by 1 point in the standings. We all know the history. What are your expectations for that game?
Well,
big question.
Listen. I started with a listen. That's never a good sign.
That's never a good sign. He's gearing up.
The preseason was absolutely insane, right? Woo! I don't think any of us saw that final preseason game happening when the preseason first began. These teams
Right.
play each other every preseason. We know all the history. And even after some of the things happen in the other games, you're still wondering, like, what does this mean? You know, it's the preseason. And does everybody just want to get out of here healthy for the regular season? And it was an absolute gong show, right? It was insane,
to say the least.
And there are some things I think that are going to boil over from that, right? And luckily, Brandon Hagel now is healthy. He's good to go. But we saw the headshot on Hags, and the Lightning took note of that in that preseason game, right? You're talking about a guy who suffered a concussion last year in the playoffs, and right away he comes in and they go straight for his head. And it's like, you're sending a message there that this isn't over. And the Lightning responded. We did see some supplemental discipline. I honestly think the biggest thing from that is everybody from all of that supplemental discipline is eligible to play in this game this weekend now. Scott Sabourin has served his 4-game suspension from the NHL. And especially if these injuries look the way they do right now, there's at least a chance that Scott Sabourin plays in that game. And I do think it's a matter of, you have to ride the fine line, right? You want to send a message, but everybody's going to be tuned into this game. I guarantee you this is the game of the weekend for so many people who otherwise would not care about the Battle of Florida. This is going to be a highly, highly watched game. And if you're the Lightning, Eric Chernak put it best today. I asked him, I'm like, I know you guys take this game by game, but you can't tell me you don't know this game's coming up this weekend. And he kind of laughed. He said, no. He said, we got to take business tomorrow against the New York Rangers. He said, but we don't like them. They don't like us. It should be fun. You know, and I think that's the perfect way to think about it, because nobody knows for sure what's coming, but I guarantee you it's going to be entertaining.
That was really well said, Ben. I applaud you, because I did put you on the spot. I was trying to answer this myself, and yeah, I agree with everything you said. I always get hesitant to just give my opinion without kind of feeling out what the players are thinking. And I haven't asked any of them about this game yet, because number one, there's a game ahead against the Rangers. And number two, Ben, right? I don't fault them at all, but I always feel like in these types of scenarios, no one is ever very honest.
Right.
Because, right, words don't really matter. It's how you play when the time comes. And I truthfully don't think it's not wanting to add more fuel to the fire, but it's just not going to do any good. So yeah, I'm expecting, I think entertaining is a very good word for it, whatever that means. And quite frankly, I cannot wait.
Well, and forget the physical stuff. Like, obviously everybody's wondering who's going to fight who. You're talking about two of the best teams in the NHL over the last 10 years going head to head. And I know the Florida Panthers are missing some of their top guys right now with injury, obviously in Barkov and Tkachuk. Like, this game, if you take out all the madness, the rivalry, the talent that's going to be on the ice every time that these two teams play is must-watch TV. And then you throw in the animosity of the in-state rivalry. It's even more must-watch TV. And then you throw in what happened in last year's playoffs. You're like, I don't know if I can get off the couch during like the commercials, right?
Yeah,
if I'm watching from home.
Glued.
And then the preseason happens and you're like, I got to find a way to be at that game in person if you're a fan, right? Like it's risen so much over the Stanley Cup wins between these two franchises. And just like, these are two teams that expect to win. When they play, both teams say, why not us tonight? And they go out there and they play like it. So we can't wait. It's only one of 3 games. It's the first matchup of the season between these two teams. Like you said, there's other business to take care of first for the Lightning, but that's I think everyone's got that one circled for sure.
Must watch TV, and Ben, in my opinion, the best rivalry that exists right now in the National Hockey League.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Okay, a good segue here, our Blue Line segment where you ask us questions. We got a lot on X, so thank you so much for everyone who wrote in. This first one, Ben, we know this name, T. Strum. He had a good one, again, that goes right with the topic we were talking about. His question is, with the Panthers game coming up and the history between Hagel and the Panthers captain and the preseason, do you think Cooper will keep Hagel out of the game for his safety?
Not a chance.
Short answer.
No.
Brandon Hagel would never allow it also.
I was just going to say, honestly, Even if John Cooper wanted to, and there's no way he would want to, there is not a chance. Like, he could hide Brandon Hagel's skates, and I think he'd try to put on Victor Hedman's that are probably 6 sizes too big for his feet.
Yes.
He would do whatever it takes to play in this game. And again, like Brandon Hagel's start to the season, everybody was like, what's going on here? Brandon Hagel has 7 goals in his last 7 games. You're telling me that guy wasn't fired up to play in this game before, and now he's feeling himself a little bit? Like, yeah, Brandon Hagel, not a chance. That is a guy that you're going to want to watch every single night he plays, but especially in that game, he's got motivation. And again, forget the physical stuff. He wants to prove that, he wants to win. We can play with this team. We can beat this team.
Yeah. So barring, again, knock on wood, a significant injury before this game, Brandon Hagel will be out there. Okay, Ben, you mentioned some questions from our listeners as we're going here, and I believe we have some that potentially focus on Coop's catch, so you might have to do more answering here.
Did anyone get seasick? Well,
I love it. I probably would have.
I can tell you this much. Anthony Shirley, and I do believe this video is out on social media, but I had to laugh when, again, I said that our good friend Remy was giving Shirley a hard time. He asked her if she was feeling seasick, and she said no, and she kind of turned to the side. He's like, oh, well, I kind of am. Like, and I do believe that video has been posted by the social media team at the Tampa Bay Lightning, so you want to go check that one out. But I'm sitting on that boat, and I'm like, I know that our good friend Choud is there recording, and I'm trying not to laugh, and then they're not gonna laugh in the video. It was really funny. It was pretty choppy on the water. I'm quite sure others got seasick, but credit to C for not being afraid to admit it in front of a rolling camera. I thought that was pretty good.
That is hilarious. I saw the clip. Ooh, okay, we got another one here. Anyone catch any snook? My favorite.
So I will say our boat, that was the one fish that our friend Remy and Shirley did not catch to close the Grand Slam. I mean, Anthony Shirley caught a stingray, by the way.
It should count. That's cool.
Only caught 2 fish on the day, and one was a stingray, and he was pretty proud of it. Again, Remy let him know that she was still out fishing him, but I told C I thought the stingray was cool. So we did not catch one, but there were a lot of snook caught on other boats, and that is a trophy that goes out as one of the main species of fish you're hoping to catch. So there were snook caught, unfortunately none by our boat, but it was good. And I should include here that our one player who left with a trophy was your starting goaltender, Andrei Vasilevsky, with the second biggest trout. So Vass took home some hardware, and for those wondering about the Grand Slam, you've probably seen it posted already. Our good friend JJ Moser, who was on the boat with our guest of honor last year, his boat ended up taking home the Grand Slam title. So he left with a very large trophy. But Vass was the lone player who got credit for a good catch on the day. So it was a great day on the water.
All right, I think we got one more potentially. This is from Peter. Great event. Thank you, everyone, for all you do for the kids. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just a comment. Lovely.
That's fantastic. And again, it's not a common thing, right? You see these fundraisers, and Coop mentioned when he first started, he was looking for something to do, but he didn't want to do the traditional, like, just golf tournament, get everybody together and go golfing. He wanted to do something different. And he was in the middle of the bay fishing, and he's like, oh my God, this would be perfect. And it's cool, it's unique, and most importantly, it raises a lot of money for a very, very important cause. So great day, great year, and I'm sure we're all excited to hopefully surpass the amount next year. So credit to Coop and everybody involved, Sarah Costello especially. She's a driving force on that one. She deserves a lot of credit for everything that goes on. So pretty proud to work for an organization that values something like this.
Excellent. Ben, you want to read this 2-part question from Kayla? And Kayla, I'm already sorry in advance because I'm only answering half of it.
What I tell you what, in all fairness, Shirley, you did your homework. I love when we get these questions because you instantly dive in. You're like, I don't know who I'm talking to yet, but I'm going to find an answer to this. So Kayla wants to know, first, do the Bolts have anything they pass around the locker room after a win? If so, what? And then she also wants to know, when that's happening, what is the win song this year? So Shirls, I know you did your homework. Let's hear what you got.
Okay, so Kayla, first part, and truthfully, I don't know the exact details of what is passed around on a win. Perhaps though it goes to like the player of the game, right? A lot of teams do it. We see a lot of videos. We've shown videos of it in the past. I don't know. I have an idea. I don't know exactly what's being passed around, but I do know when our video team goes in there to get John Cooper's post-game speech or the first goal scored by Dominic James, whatever's being passed around, the team does not want it on camera, right? For whatever reason, probably just let's keep it in this room. Okay. So I wish I knew more and I wish I could share, but I don't have the exact details and I could potentially get fired if I said what I maybe think it is. So part 2, the win song, which again stays in the room. We've all heard their win songs in the past and people love them. So I'm sharing that one. I have asked. It is called, the title, Freed from Desire. I wish I could sing it for you because I can't even tell you who sings it. There's like a couple versions, at least on Spotify, with like a couple different artists.
Okay.
But my quick research is that it's like an older song, like 1996, whether there's been like remixes or whatnot. But Freed from Desire.
96.
It's catchy. It's catchy. I like country music though, so like I'm not
really. Or what? You've been rocking to this?
You know, I have it like saved because it's
okay.
Country music's my go-to, and this is definitely not a country song. But Freed from Desire is the title of the current win song, which is happening right now. Lots of winning for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
That's fantastic. That's good stuff. Okay. Well, like, guys, great questions. We appreciate. We got a ton of questions this week, by the way.
We did.
So, again, we really appreciate all of your participation, and the more times you ask, the more times you get a chance of being one of the ones we pick. So thank you guys so much for all of your questions. And we have somebody else to thank as well, and that is Penelope Bourbon, which is a proud partner of the Tampa Bay Lightning. And whether you're cheering at Benchmark International Arena or you're raising a glass at home, Penelope brings fans together. That's one pour, one moment, one win at a time. You can find Penelope Bourbon at Publix or right here at Benchmark International Arena. Go Bolts. And as we have said, I'm a big fan of the Penelope Bourbon, and occasionally too big of a fan, but it's good stuff. So I would recommend. I know, Gabby, obviously your baby is more important, but I do know it's on your bucket list. So I'm excited to hear your review eventually.
Eventually, yes. All right, that leads us to our plus minus segment. Ben, I'm going to go first because, again, good transitions here. I cannot enjoy Penelope Bourbon at the moment because I am pregnant, which is one of like my main topics that I focus on every time I get to the plus minus segment. Tampa Bay Lightning, being pregnant, having a new house. But as I mentioned, I missed Coop's catch, which was terribly disappointing because I was at my own baby shower. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I was home with family, friends for this shower. It was absolutely fantastic. Ben, my plus, I mean, I could just say the baby shower, but I'll be a little more specific. I haven't been to a ton of baby showers, but I hear that there are some like very silly games that are played. And while if I was a participant, I would be like all in for sure because you got to be a good sport. I don't like love this. My friend, her mom, and my mom, the three of them kind of planned this, and I gave zero input. This is also what I do. I typically just show up to things and see how they go. But they read my mind, and there were no silly games. Rather, there were like activities that you could or could not participate in, depending on what you were feeling. And like, for example, this is the best one, and it's so silly and so simple, but like just perfect. There was like a stack of like cards that had a letter of the alphabet on it. So if you felt like it, you could take a card. If it was A, you would say A is for and draw whatever you wanted, apple, and then like sign your name. And they would collect them, and like they can go in a book for you to like read to the baby because teaching the baby the alphabet is very important. But it's like a funny drawing. Whoever did it, you see like who was at your shower, what they thought of. Some like related to me are my friend Drew, like reporter. Others were very random. C was like carrot. My grandmother, my aunt, a couple of my cousins are like actually artists. So some of the drawings were like very impressive.
Okay.
My other grandmother, not an artist. She had H. She did a house. And we were like crying, laughing later in the night because she forgot to draw a chimney, but there was like smoke coming out of the house. So
it's
like
on
the house
fire?
was like literally on fire. Yeah. Like, just like ridiculous. But
See,
like
that's
such
great
a
though.
great activity that
Yeah.
wasn't like, I need you, I'm gonna force you to participate in this crazy game right at this moment.
That's
So
awesome. That's great.
that's my plus.
That's a really good plus, and I like the idea of the game. I will say that that's definitely the kind of game that I could never play with my friends because I'd never be able to read the book to a child. But given
Yeah,
their
I mean, there were no
vocabulary,
boys. There were no boys at this
yeah,
baby
right,
shower.
right. Yeah, that's why I'm like, that sounds like a great baby shower act. That's a good idea, but that's great. I'm sure there's somebody out there who's going to steal that one because I've never heard of that, and that's really cool.
It was
That's fun.
so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I really
fantastic.
enjoyed it.
Cool.
What's your plus?
I really struggled with this one this week, but honestly, my plus is just going to be the Tampa Bay Lightning organization and what they do every year with Coop's Catch. Like I said, I mean, $500,000. Cancer has affected every single person that I've ever met in my life. It has affected me personally and my family. And by me personally, I don't mean that I've had it, obviously, but you lose family members, you lose friends. It's something that I think we just accept as part of everyday life. And I think we do forget that while, yes, all cancer is traumatic, I can't even imagine the idea of having a kid and loving a kid you're the way that you do. And Victor Hedman said the exact same thing. He said, when we were sitting on the docks getting ready to go out on the water, he said, like, I can't even imagine what that would be like to have to experience this when it's my child. And it's one of the days of the year, I think, that we really are reminded of the humanity of it all. And that these guys, yes, they are professional athletes who maybe don't live the lifestyle that the average person does, but they're human at the end of the day. And I think just seeing the fact that they attend and not only attend, but they really dive in and they're all for supporting their coach, knowing how much it means to him. It's again, it's rare. Even in the professional sports world, it's the kind of event that you don't get to see. And I know you love it every year. It's I've only gotten to go 2 years now, but both years I've left honestly just really inspired by the difference that these people are trying to make for others who are going through a difficult time. So my plus is just Coop's Catch and everything that this organization does to help others, because quite frankly, they don't have to, and they really do go above and beyond doing it. So I'm very proud to work where I do.
Great plus.
All right.
Ben, I had a tough time with my minus this week.
Wow. Really? I thought it was going to be travel for sure, by the way. I was getting ready for a horror travel story here.
Okay. Again, we had a game Saturday. My baby shower was Sunday at 1:00. Like, my mother could not possibly make it at 4:00. She said the timing didn't work for food. 1:00. So if I was delayed, I was basically going to miss it. And I had no delays, which is a miracle. So that probably could have been my plus as well. But moving on, my minus, Ben, because I had such a great week. You basically called me out on this earlier, but my minus, and I've said this in the past, is the weather. I hate when it gets cold.
I love it. That was
I
almost
live in Florida for a reason. Walking outside this morning, I mean, I'm in a sweatshirt and pants, but I like underestimated. I was shivering for the first 20 minutes of my drive. Like, I'm out on it. I don't like it. That's my minus.
That's so good, because it was, without it being Coop's Catch week, I think the weather might have been my plus. Oh, I love it. Especially because I'm like, wait, I can have the cold without the snow. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
No, if it's cold, I want snow.
That's a hot take. I'm never in for snow. Maybe
What's
when I was
your minus?
Maybe when I was 10. My minus is very minute, and it probably won't shock you, Gabby, but as somebody who grew up working in newsrooms, the other day I printed one of my stories because I like to copy edit my stories to try to catch typos, grammar errors, things like that before I send them along. Very old fashioned to print it and do it. But they say if you read something on a different form, it's you catch things more. But
do they say that?
Yes, they tell you when I was in journalism school, the first thing they said in copy editing was, you think it's fine on the computer screen? I dare you to print it out and read it again. And you're going to go, what is that sentence? Because for me, growing up in newspapers, but when newspapers were very much more popular than they are now, you think about it, the person reading it is most likely going to be holding it like this instead of reading it on a screen. True. Now, obviously, newspapers have adapted to a more mobile and internet style as well. But it is interesting how different things can read based on the medium. Long story short, I grabbed a pen the other day. It was a red pen. Mm-hmm. And so I'm getting ready to mark up my article. And I go to catch an error and I write with it. And the ink was black. And I just have to say, if you make a pen with a red casing, a red outside, the ink inside that pen should be red every single time, because it drives me absolutely nuts to grab a red pen that doesn't write in red. And now all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to put errors into my story trying to depict what was there and what I wrote on there in black ink. And again, very, very tiny violin minus, but I was pretty rattled when I wrote with a red pen and the ink was not red. So that is my minus for this week. Is I would like to abolish the casings of pen being red if it does not write in red ink. So that is my minus this week. Let's change the world.
Ben, that's actually pretty funny. And I mean, again, both of our minuses are kind of like whatever. So that means we had a good week. I love that.
Yeah, it would. Absolutely. We'll take that every time.
Yeah, we'll take that every single time. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
No, the Tampa Bay Lightning have really turned their season around. You can tell at practice today, the energy was unbelievably high, despite missing some guys due to injury. And I think you can sense that this team feels like it's turned a corner, and hopefully they keep stacking the wins here this week. I know we're both looking forward to it, and let's get back to the grind. Let's go.
I know we got games coming up Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 more games until our next recording of Into the Blue, but we will be back, guys, next week. Thank you so much for joining us here, and we can't wait to talk to you soon.